So many kings have ruled this kingdom. They grow old and die. But the queen, she has stayed young for decades. Why?
I don't really know why.
She's your mother. You should know.
In Mbata Kingdom, every king had one thing in common: a queen who never aged. Kings died, new kings rose, but the queen remained the same for generations, until one prince began to ask questions and uncovered a truth the kingdom was never meant to know. If you love dark African folktales, like, comment, and follow for more. Now, let's begin. In the ancient kingdom of Mbata, where the soil was rich and the moonlight carried the voices of ancestors, one truth stood unchallenged for generations. Every king who ruled Mbata had a queen who never aged. It was not whispered, it was not hidden, it was celebrated. The people believed it was a blessing, a divine mark, proof that Mbata was chosen among kingdoms. They sang songs about her in the marketplaces. They carved her likeness into sacred wood and stone. Mothers told their children stories of her grace. They called her Neamaka, the mother who does not fade. Her beauty was not merely physical, it was unsettling, perfect in a way that did not belong to time. Her skin never wrinkled, her eyes never dulled, her voice never weakened. Even her presence felt constant, unchanging, like something that had always been and would always be. Years passed, kings rose, kings died, but the queen remained, unchanged, untouched, unmoved. When King Obina died after 21 harvest seasons, the kingdom mourned deeply. Drums echoed through the night like a grieving heartbeat. The air smelled of ashes, oil, and sorrow. Men spoke of his victories, women wept for his passing, children were told to remember his name. But inside the royal chambers, the queen sat before her mirror, silent, still, watching herself. There were no tears, no sorrow, no trace of loss, only that same calm, knowing smile, as though death had no meaning to her, as though she had seen it too many times to care. When the morning ended, a new king rose, Prince Dike, young, powerful, chosen by lineage and crowned by tradition. And beside him, the queen, the same queen who had stood beside his father, the same face, the same body, the same eyes, as though nothing had changed, as though time itself had bowed before her. The people rejoiced. They called it a miracle. They called it divine favor. But not everyone celebrated. Prince Kamsi, the younger brother of King Dike, watched quietly, too closely. He had been a child when his father ruled. He had seen the queen then. Now, years later, she looked exactly the same. Not similar, not youthful, the same. Something inside him refused to accept it. That night, as the palace settled into silence, Kamsi sat with his friend Obasi. "The queen," Kamsi said slowly. "How old is she?" Obasi laughed nervously. "That is not a question people ask. But you have noticed it," Kamsi pressed. Obasi's laughter faded. A long pause followed. Then, "Yes." Kamsi leaned forward, his voice lower now. "My father ruled for years. Your father ruled before him. And still, she remains." Obasi swallowed hard. "My father once spoke of it," he said quietly. "And what did he say?" Obasi hesitated. Then finally, he said, "Some truths in Mbata are buried for a reason." Kamsi's eyes hardened. "I am not afraid of buried truths." That night, he walked alone through the palace corridors. The torches flickered as though reacting to his presence or warning him. He stopped outside the queen's chamber. The door was slightly open. Inside, she sat before her mirror, washing herself. Kamsi stepped closer, and then something shifted. Her reflection moved. A heartbeat. Too late. Kamsi froze. Then the reflection smiled. Slowly. Wider than her actual face. And in a voice that did not echo in the room, but inside his head, it whispered, "I wondered when you would begin to see." Kamsi did not speak of what he saw. Not to Obasi, not to his brother, not to anyone. Because deep down, he already knew.
This was no ordinary secret. This was not palace gossip, not superstition, not imagination. This was something older, something buried beneath generations of silence, something dangerous. And silence, he realized, was part of its power. So he broke away from the palace, from the safety of walls and guards and familiar voices, and went where truth lived without permission, to the edge of Mbata, then beyond it, to where the paths thinned, where the air grew heavier, where even birds seemed to fly around instead of through. Mama Ekwensu lived there, alone, feared, avoided, respected. Her name was spoken carefully, like something that could hear even when uncalled. Kamsi found her seated outside her hut, grinding herbs in a clay bowl, slow, steady, deliberate, as though time itself moved at her pace. She did not look surprised. "You have seen her," she said. Kamsi stopped mid-step. The words hit him harder than he expected. "You knew I would come?" he asked. She did not look up. Those who see what should not be seen always find their way here. Kamsi stepped closer, his voice tightening. "The queen, what is she?" Mama Ekwensu paused, then slowly lifted her eyes, and what Kamsi saw in them made his chest tighten. Not fear, not shock, but certainty. Heavy, ancient certainty. "Not what?" she said softly. "Who?" The words settled like dust between them. Silence followed. Long, waited. Then, "Long before your father," she began, "before his father, before the first throne of Mbata was carved from sacred wood." Kamsi did not move, did not blink. "There was a king," she continued, "who feared death more than dishonor." Her voice carried no judgment, only truth. He sought what no man should seek. He crossed boundaries set by ancestors, walked paths forbidden to the living. The wind shifted slightly, as though listening. "And there," she said, lowering her voice, "he found something that should never have been found." Kamsi's throat tightened. What did he find? Mama Ekwensu's eyes darkened. A spirit. The word felt heavier than it sounded. A spirit that feeds on life, but cannot exist without a body. Kamsi's breathing slowed, each inhale sharper than the last. She offered him a gift, Mama Ekwensu continued, a kingdom that would not fall, wealth that would not dry, power that would not fade. And in return, Kamsi asked, though part of him already feared the answer. Mama Ekwensu looked directly into his eyes. She would live among them. The meaning did not strike immediately. It crept in, slowly, then all at once. "The queen," Kamsi whispered. Mama Ekwensu nodded. "She is not one woman." Her voice dropped further. "She is many." A pause, then more quietly, or rather, she was. Kamsi staggered slightly. The ground beneath him suddenly felt unstable. "What do you mean?" he asked. "She does not age," Mama Ekwensu said, "because she does not belong to time." Kamsi's hands clenched. "She enters each chosen bride," Mama Ekwensu continued, "on the night of union, when the rituals are complete, when the doors are sealed, when no one is allowed to witness what happens inside." Kamsi's chest tightened. "And the bride?" he asked. Mama Ekwensu did not soften her words. "She is consumed." The forest seemed to go quiet. Even the insects stilled. Silence, heavy, suffocating. Kamsi's voice came out slower now. "And the spirit remains. Yes. Wearing her face. Yes. Living her life. Yes. And when the king dies, she waits," Mama Ekwensu said, "patient, watching, until another bride is chosen." Kamsi felt something inside him collapse. Not loudly, not suddenly, but completely. "My mother," he said, barely above a whisper. Mama Ekwensu closed her eyes briefly, as though acknowledging a pain she had seen too many times. Then she opened them again, and spoke the truth no son should ever hear. "Your mother is gone, child." Kamsi returned to the palace a different man, not visibly, not in a way others could easily name, but something inside him had shifted, cracked. Every memory now felt poisoned. Every smile his mother had given him, every word, every embrace, now carried doubt. Had she meant them? Had she felt anything at all? Or had it all been an imitation?
a performance worn by something else. He could not escape the questions. They followed him through the halls, through the voices of servants, through the laughter of the court, even through the silence of his own thoughts. That night, he made a decision. If truth was a wound, he would rather feel it fully than live pretending it was not there. So he went to her chamber and hid, deep within the shadows where the torchlight could not reach, waiting, watching, listening. Time slowed, each second stretching into something heavy. Midnight did not arrive suddenly. It crept, quiet, patient. And then, she moved. The queen rose from her bed, not abruptly, not lazily, but with a smooth, controlled motion that felt rehearsed, like something that had learned how humans wake. She walked toward the mirror, barefoot, silent, each step perfectly measured. Too perfect, too precise. Kamsi held his breath. She stopped before her reflection and stared, longer than anyone should stare at themselves. Then she spoke. "I am growing restless." The voice was calm, but beneath it, something else stirred. The reflection answered, "You have waited before." Kamsi's eyes widened. Her lips had not moved, not once, and yet the voice was there, clear, cold, layered. Not one voice, but many, speaking through one sound. "I hunger," she said. The air in the room seemed to tighten, as though even the walls were listening. "Soon," the reflection replied. Kamsi's heart pounded violently, each beat loud in his ears, too loud. He pressed his hand against his chest as though he could silence it. But then, her body stiffened, completely, like a puppet whose strings had been pulled too tight. Her neck tilted, slowly, then sharply, at an angle no human body should allow. A faint cracking sound followed. Kamsi nearly gasped. Her mouth opened, wider and wider, until it stretched beyond what should have been possible. And beneath her skin, something moved. Not a twitch, not a muscle. Something else, something alive, a shifting darkness that crawled just beneath the surface, pressing, testing, searching for release. Kamsi stumbled backward. His foot brushed against the floor, a soft creak. But in that silence, it sounded like thunder. Everything stopped. The movement beneath her skin froze. The air held its breath. Slowly, she turned. Not with surprise, not with confusion, but with awareness. Deliberate, certain. Her eyes met his, and in that moment, Kamsi understood. There was nothing human left behind them. They were deep, endless, black, like looking into something that had no bottom, no soul, no mercy. "You should not have seen that." Her voice was no longer layered, no longer hidden. It was singular now, clear, and far more terrifying, because it was speaking directly to him, not through a mirror, not through shadows, but through the body of the woman he once called mother. And then she smiled. Not like before, not calm, not gentle, but knowing, as though the game had finally begun.
Kamsi returned to Mami Quensu, not as a prince, not even as a man who still believed he could be whole again. He returned as someone already carrying grief, even before the loss was complete. Shaken, broken, but certain. "There must be a way to stop her," he said. His voice was steady, but it was the steadiness of someone who had run out of places to hide. Mami Quensu studied him carefully, not with pity, but with understanding. "There is," she replied. Hope flickered, small, fragile, dangerous, then died at her next words. "But you will not like it." Kamsi did not hesitate. "Tell me." Mami Quensu held his gaze, long enough for him to feel the weight of what was coming. Then she spoke. "To destroy the spirit, you must destroy the body it lives in." Silence. Not the kind that passes, the kind that settles, heavy, permanent. Kamsi did not speak, did not move, did not breathe. Because somewhere deep inside him, he already knew. "That body," Mami Quensu continued, softer now, "is your mother's." The words did not feel like sound, they felt like impact. Kamsi turned away. His hands trembled, his chest tightened, as though something inside it was breaking apart piece by piece. "There is no other way?" he asked. A part of him still hoped, still reached, still searched for a different answer. "No," The word was quiet, but final. "If I do nothing?" Kamsi asked. Mami Ekwensu's voice did not change. "She will continue." A pause. Then, another bride. Another pause. Another life. And finally, another soul lost. Kamsi closed his eyes, and in that darkness, he saw them. Not as names, not as stories, but as faces. Women dressed in bridal cloth, smiling, hopeful, alive, then fading, one by one, consumed, erased, forgotten. And among them, his mother. Not as she was now, but as she had been. Warm, alive, real. Kamsi's breath shook. That was the moment he understood. This was not just about ending something evil. It was about ending a cycle. And cycles do not end without sacrifice. That night, the palace felt different, quieter, as though it knew what was coming. Kamsi walked through its corridors slowly, each step heavier than the last, not as a son, but as something else, something forced into existence by truth. When he entered her chamber, she was already waiting. Of course she was. She stood near the mirror, perfect, still, watching him as though he had been expecting this moment all along. "You have come," she said. Her voice was calm, welcoming, almost proud. Kamsi held the sacred blade tightly. His hand trembled despite his resolve. His voice broke under the weight of everything he carried. "Is she still inside you?" The queen tilted her head, slowly, curiously. "For moments," she said, "brief ones." Kamsi stepped closer. Each step felt like betrayal, each breath like loss. "Mother," he whispered. And then, for a single heartbeat, the world shifted. Her eyes changed, softened, cleared. They found him, recognized him. "Kamsi," she whispered. His knees nearly gave way. Tears fell instantly, uncontrolled. "I am here," he said, his voice shaking. "I never left." Her lips trembled. Her voice cracked, not like the spirit, but like a woman. "Help me," she whispered. And in that moment, he saw her, not the queen, not the illusion, but his mother, trapped, fading, reaching. And then it was gone, snatched away like it had never been there. Her expression twisted, reset. The smile returned, cold, familiar, terrifying. Too slow, and this time there was no trace of his mother left behind. The scream that followed was not human. It did not sound like pain alone. It sounded like rage, like something ancient being torn from the world against its will. It ripped through the palace walls, through the courtyards, through the sleeping homes of Mabata. Birds scattered into the dark. Dogs howled. Even the wind seemed to recoil. And then silence. Not the gentle silence of peace, but the heavy silence that comes after something has ended completely. By morning, the queen was gone. No body, no blood, no trace. Only absence. For the first time in generations, there was no queen beside the throne. No eternal beauty, no familiar smile. And though no one spoke of it openly, the kingdom felt it. A strange lightness, as though something unseen had been pressing down on Mabata for years and had finally lifted. The air felt clearer, the sun warmer, the shadows less watchful. But Kamsi stood alone at the edge of the palace, watching the sun rise slowly over the land he had saved and the life he had lost. He did not stand as a prince. He did not stand as a hero. He stood as a son who had ended his mother's suffering by ending her life. His hands were still, but not at peace. Mama Ekwensu stood beside him, quiet, present. "It is finished," she said softly. Kamsi shook his head, slowly, deliberately. "No," he replied. "It has only begun, because now Mabata would have to live without illusion, without false blessings, without the comfort of a lie dressed as a miracle. They would have to rebuild truth, and truth is heavier than deception." He turned away from the rising sun, not healed, not whole, but certain. some endings are not victories, they are burdens, and he would carry this one for the rest of his life. Moral of the story? Not everything that appears eternal is a blessing. Some things endure because they feed on others. Power that demands innocent lives is never divine, and sometimes the greatest act of love is the hardest sacrifice a heart can survive. If you love powerful African folktale stories, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts on subscribe for more cinematic stories like this.